Hey everybody, welcome to tonight's webinar. My name's Luke. I'm the CEO at Hip Creative, and I've got James here who's over SEO at Hip. He's the expert for tonight. And we're going to be talking about SEO, primarily AI, and how AI has affected SEO and why it matters now and what you need to be paying attention to and what you need to be doing in today's evolving world. So James, I'll kick it over to you and give us an intro of tonight and get us started.
Thank you, Luke. So what we're going to be going over is just exposing AEO and the AI search and how to get free traffic with ChatGPT and AI search. So what I'll jump into first is why you should actually care today about this. Well, if you haven't noticed already, Google is answering questions directly inside of the search results. You'll see AI overviews, right? So this is reducing clicks over to websites. And we want to be able to capture that audience that's searching and finding those AI overviews. And then, of course, we have ChatGPT and other AI tools that are becoming patient decision engines, and they're influencing choices through conversation. And again, traditional SEO is important, right? Ranking number one is in Google is great. We still love that. However, I'm starting to see the trend go towards AI, and it's becoming just as important. So what we're going to go over and what you're going to learn today. So I'm just going to go over exactly what is AEO, what is GEO, the free traffic opportunities, and then also how can you actually leverage this and get your practice, right? What you should actually do and the implementation framework behind it, and then action steps and just how to actually track this. So the search shift is already happening. So when Google SEO was the standard and there was no AI, our goal was always, hey, how can we get higher in the search for the most important local search intent keywords like orthodontist near me or dentist near me, right? And dominate. We want to be number one in the maps and number one organically with the website. But what that would do is it would create people and searches to have to actually click through a bunch of sites, read information, right? And now what AI has done, which shifted, is it will actually eliminate the time for a searcher that's looking for a recommendation, because it lives right inside of, let's say, ChatGPT, where it's going to have a conversation, it's going to ask you questions, and it's going to make a recommendation right then and there and save you time. So that's where AI is really playing a part, where it's starting to shift and starting to influence people, that it's actually a better way to search. So new patient discovery funnel, again, old funnel, you search, you click, you have to compare, you're looking at different sites, then you call. Now you're going over to ChatGPT, you're asking a question, AI answers, they might ask you a question, they'll make some specific recommendations and have a conversation with you, and then they'll send you over to a site to book an appointment. So what is AEO? Answer Engine Optimization. So what this is specific platforms, and Google AI Overviews is probably one of my favorite and probably the most popular one. And I'll show you an example right here. If you go over to Google and you ask a specific question, you're going to see this section right here, AI Overview, where this is actually being answered directly at the top, where before AI, it used to just be the organic rankings, right? So right here would be organic rankings, which was great. However, now that the AI overviews come in, it's actually answering the question right here, but you'll start to notice it will cite sites, right? So right here, you see Artemis, this is one of our partners. And the way we were able to actually position here in AI overview is answering this question in a very specific way, building credibility, and then also building power over to that specific page and being able to get suggested here. So these AI overviews are starting to take over. And the best thing and a tip is looking for local search intent questions like this. What are the cost of braces in a local area? right? Specific things like that. Does this insurance cover my X in this area, right? We want to make sure that we have optimized topical content on this. And that's going to be your best bet to actually be able to be suggested and cited here. And then there's a chance that you can get that click and bring them over to your site. Bing AI Answers is also them. There are specific featured snippets, very similar to what I just showed you inside of Google. And then there is voice assistants. A lot of the voice assistants, if you have really strong optimizations and you are also answering these and being optimized and found in Google, I find that you're also going to be the one that pops up for voice assistants as well.
Hey, James, I got a quick question. So I can remember back, long time ago when you would just search and like what you're saying, there's search results. And then Google tried to optimize for local business. And I think one of the first things that they rolled out was Google Plus or something like that. I think that
Yeah.
was the name. And
Yep.
then somebody actually brought that up the other day. They're like, "Oh, my Google Plus account." I'm like, that hasn't existed for 10 years or 8 years. And then it was Google Business Profile or Google My Business. Now it's
Yep.
Google Business Profile. Obviously, those things would give you more visibility. But now with AI, what I'm hearing is there's a whole opportunity for visibility in a lot of other places. Gemini, even I've noticed now with Google when I do searches, there's like a AI mode you can go into.
Yep.
GPT. I think most people here are probably using Chat GPT. There's a ton of other, there's Grok, there's Claude, there's like a new one every day.
Yeah.
And so there's just a lot more visibility based on what people are using. Maybe people are still using Bing, and Bing's got AI built into it. So
Yep.
there's a chance to be seen maybe at like a 10x level, where previously it's just search, then search plus the local element like Google Business Profile. Now there's all these other tools that people are searching through and asking. And so visibility, there's just a huge opportunity.
Definitely huge opportunity because you could be found now on so many different platforms that you couldn't be found before. And even with Google Business, I know I shared this earlier, but so right now in certain industries, like I typed in plumber Orlando, if you look here, look what Google Business is integrating right now in the
Right.
construction field. Have AI get prices. Now,
Hmm.
I'm not seeing this in the dental space yet, but I
We
study
will.
this stuff and I
Yeah.
look at this stuff, and there's a good chance that this is going to also start popping up in the dental space. And right now, what I'm also looking at and testing out is, what does this actually do, right? Reverse engineering it and just being prepared when it does pop up in the
Hmm.
dental space. How
Hmm.
can we take advantage of that as well? So, what optimizations do we need there? So, yes, AI is starting to get integrated in everything. There's going to be algorithm shifts, just like Google has algorithm shifts. There's going to be updates with ChatGPT's algorithm and specifics. Same thing with Google Business. Same thing with AI overviews. But all the years I've been doing SEO and even all the algorithm shifts, if you are building trust, credibility, and authority, you'll always have success. And I still believe that's what you need to do today. You need to take traditional SEO, right? You need to still build all of your traditional SEO app, but now just having a specific strategic approach with what you're doing with the content, right? So we'll get into that. Generative engine optimizations, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, some of the top, that's the top three big ones. But like Luke mentioned, there's many more. ChatGPT definitely most popular and definitely the one that I really keep an eye out on and test.
I think that'll change though. Just to interject, like, you see this a lot of times, like before the iPhone, there was Blueberry, I think it
Yeah.
was called Blueberry. And,
Yeah.
nobody knows what that is anymore. And Google is releasing things so fast. And also Meta. We haven't even talked about Meta in any of these yet. Meta just released their new glasses, which now have the display built into the glass. so you can watch things. They just invested, I think, $2 or $3 billion in Manus AI, which is very similar to Claude. And so I think you're going to see during the race in technology and AI, things maybe change a bit. And my prediction is, Google probably wins, Meta does pretty well, and GPT, I'm just going to say, I think it's going to struggle long term to keep up. That's just my prediction, for whatever that's worth.
Yeah, and it could be, like you said, we've seen this happen in the past. I even looking at that, even if things
BlackBerry,
shift.
not Blueberry, BlackBerry.
Yes, BlackBerry. I remember that. I had one of those. That's funny, yeah. And even if things shift, just like BlackBerry to Apple, I can guarantee that there's still going to be very specific similarities on how they're ranking you, right? And just thinking about it, top level, building trust, credibility, and authority, how could that not be a good idea, right? So, and being strategic with it. So I think everything that I'm seeing and the results that we're getting for specific projects that we're testing things on, some things get hyped up and we'll test it out and we're like, okay, no, we're going to throw that to the wayside. That's really not working. And then there are things that I can see that are definitely working, right? So the big idea, AI doesn't rank, it selects. Like I mentioned, traditional SEO, it ranks pages in order of relevancy and authority, and that's still important, right? The goal is to appear as high as you can. With AI, it's going to select sources and cite them, and then it summarizes, and it will choose sources off of trust and feature you off of that trust and credibility within a conversation that someone's having. So the new goal is become the trusted source in AI answers and also in the conversation. Why this matters for dental practices? Well, back to rapid expansion. So as AI is rolling out, I showed you also just that plumber search, how now Google's testing out AI integrations into Google Business, right? So we want to make sure that we're at the forefront of this. And as searchers are going over to ChatGPT or Perplexity or any other AI search engine, that we have specific things in place that build the trust factor. That's the biggest thing. And why is this important? Well, just like organic SEO, the organic GEO and AEO, it's free traffic, right? It's free visibility. If someone's finding you in a Google AI overview or a Bing AI answer or inside a ChatGPT, that's all free traffic that is just like organic SEO, but just like Luke mentioned earlier, we're spreading it out. It's not just focused on Google anymore, it's being spread out. So the first movers that take advantage of this and the early adapters, that's where it's going to be promising to cement yourself there, build up enough trust and authority, and be found and take advantage of funneling new patients in. So I break this down from my research, from our case studies, from what I'm seeing into 3 signals that get you recommended by AI. So there's topical authority, and this is really just painting you as the expert, right? So I'll use Invisalign as an example. If somebody is searching and they're looking for Invisalign, back in the day, if I just wanted to rank for Invisalign provider Orlando or Invisalign Orlando, I would optimize a page and I would build power to that and I'd be able to rank number 1, no problem. Well, now, and Google's starting to shift as well too, but especially with AI, when there's a conversation and you're looking for an Invisalign provider for, let's say, your teen daughter, and you're going and having this conversation with ChatGPT, it's going over and it's reading what's on your site. And if you just have one optimized page that's really focused because of Google rankings, that's not going to do it. It's looking for credibility and it's looking to make sure that you're the expert. So you want to make sure that you're covering complete topical authority around the topic, like Invisalign, and having specific optimizations throughout that content and other supporting clusters is what we call it. So you're structuring content where AI can read it, they can extract the answers from it. And this is why it's important also with schema markup, making sure there's FAQs now, making sure that's across the board, and then also building real credibility within that, like trust signals. That's the last thing, is the trust signals. And it needs to be verifiable. So if you are an Invisalign provider that is a Diamond Blue Plus status, I can't keep up with these statuses. I think that's the correct status right now, but that is very important. And what I'm seeing time and time again, if I'm having a conversation with ChatGPT and I'm asking for the best Invisalign provider in a certain area, you will usually look for credibility like that and someone who covers a topic completely, and it will actually let me know this is the doctor that you should see. This is the first choice. So topical authority, why it matters. Obviously, we want to make sure that we're comprehensive and we're the experts. And one of the things that we're also doing with our partners, it's not just covering as much on the topic that we can, but we're tying specific expertise in there. And I'll show you this example. So here is that same post that's ranking in AI overviews for, I believe it was cost of Invisalign in Sandy Springs. And if I come on down, Google's highlighting where it got the answer from. So there's very specific things to learn from this. Okay, why does Google like this? What kind of details did we put here? But even more importantly, we always tie in credibility, right? The author is the doctor. We're linking specific places, right, to build up that verifiable credibility and letting them know, hey, we have credibility. This is real. We're an expert in this treatment. And here's an optimized post with specific details that's also relative to that question. And then also clusters that will support this, right? It doesn't just stop here. We have other clusters on Invisalign that all support this. So it's important that you're building out this topical authority, you're putting your expertise on it and your authorship, linking and verifying specific things. And here's just a quick example of how to build topical authority. So for an example, the Invisalign, you want to make sure you're touching upon these things like cost and financing options of what you offer, treatment timeline, Invisalign versus other alternatives, mentioning that, maintenance and care, covering maintenance and care about the Invisalign and specific questions around that, and then building your authority. How many treatments have you done? How long have you been doing Invisalign? Do you have any awards? We like to leverage press release campaigns. So for our partners, if they are a Blue Diamond or even a Platinum provider, we'll put out press release campaigns that are optimized and making sure that they're getting indexed and on other websites that get indexed in Google, where AI can pick that up, and also just internally linking specific things and linking over to specific pages from those press releases. Same thing goes for braces. Same thing goes for early orthodontic treatment. You want to make sure you're covering everything so that you build topical authority. Right here, went over this expert voice content, very similar to how we put authorship, just also the style of how you're writing the content. If you can frame and work in specific things where, and actually case studies can work good with this, where it actually is, again, building credibility off of a real case study that you have, and it's coming from your actual first person on the website. AI is going to be able to pick that up. So structured, crawlable content, again, very similar to traditional SEO. Of course, we want very specific structured, crawlable content. But when it comes to AI, there's very specific things that we're doing, right? If you were to just see this, the format AI extracts best, right? If you were to just see this, you'd be like, hey, maybe your practice is already doing some of this on your website, which is great. A lot of sites I audit, even traditional SEO, some of this stuff is not in place and broken. But if you have this stuff in place, you're ahead of the game. The first thing is having your 1H1 optimized, hierarchy of H2s, H3s, using bullet lists, having specific information, right, and details in that content. That's great. But taking it to the next level for AI is really optimizing it, not only for Google search, but also integrating specific things that build credibility and really answer specific things in short paragraphs but details, right? So again, I'll use this as an example. we have very specific information in a very specific way on this page. So not only will it rank high inside of Google search, organic search, but it can also get picked up by AI overviews, and it also will also send a signal specifically over to other AI search engines because it can read this content a very specific way. We're covering specific things that we know strategically are placed and optimized so that AI can read this a specific way. Big thing too is schema markup, right? Again, a lot of you might be using this already, but making sure that there's FAQ schema markup, an FAQ section on specific pages doesn't hurt. I'm seeing that definitely helps. Homepage optimizations and just talking about AI trust and conversion. So back to building that trust credibility. I know I probably repeat that over and over again, but this is by far the number one thing that I see working incredible. And let me actually do a search right here. Best orthodontist Orlando. So right here, Dr. Sakowitz, number one, and also number one here. One thing I'll point out too, not only Google, but also inside of AI search engines like ChatGPT, you're going to start seeing Reddit more. Reddit's getting a lot more love. So also figuring out how to also optimize specific things for Reddit, which we're also working on, is a plus for both Google and for AI search. But right here, Dr. Sakowitz is ranking organically number one. And there are specific things on this homepage that we have done that not only help us dominate in Orlando organically in Google, but also starting to be in conversations that we see inside of ChatGPT and other AI search engines. And you'll notice here how we are optimizing specific things. Remember, I said credibility, trust, and verifying it. Well, he's a board certified orthodontist. He's actually the only one in Lake Nona. We link out to a specific profile for him to verify that. They also were voted one of the best orthodontists in Orlando. Specific language we're using here, linking out to a verified source. Same thing here, top orthodontist by Orlando Family Magazine, linking out to that source. So I think the biggest tip that I can tell you right now too is the optimization, language, terminology, and specific outlets that you're building on to verify that play a huge part. And not only is this great for AI, but it also will boost your Google rankings as well. So credibility builders, like I just mentioned, top 1%, 40 years serving a specific area, voted best, as you've seen in my example there, board certified, 1,000+ brace cases treated locally, right? Over 500 reviews, things like that. That type of language is all great to optimize on your website and off your website. So additional things that are building trust for AI is, again, back to traditional SEO stuff, name, address, phone number, consistency everywhere, reviews across multiple platforms. This is something that when it was just Google search focused, it really was Google business reviews that we were really focused on. Now we're starting to see ChatGPT will pull in Yelp. They'll pull in Yellow Pages sometimes. They'll pull in Facebook reviews, right? They're leveraging other sources. So the best thing to do is be able to be diversified and getting reviews on other platforms and building them all up. So this way, if ChatGPT is crawling out the web, it sees multiple citation sources with positive reviews on them. Another thing is awards and the best of list. ChatGPT loves this type of information. Again, on your site, verifying this stuff, but also off your site. So here's an example. I'll show you. For one of our partners, this is in usatoday.com. This is a press release campaign we put out. We're strategically placing this press release with specific optimizations. So we used to always build links, right? Strong authoritative links just like this. But now, knowing what AI is looking for, we're actually strategically building these links now. So we're choosing this title on purpose, right? Local orthodontist voted best in South Florida for 2025. We also link out to where they are voted best, and then we get a strong secured anchor text right here, voted best orthodontist in South Florida, over to the website. So we're building links with a very strategic approach to not only dominate Google, but to also start influencing AI so that we're in that conversation. Again, mentions from trusted websites. I mentioned Reddit earlier. So we're also building specific links and answers and posts on Reddit to also get in the conversation there, get into AI search recommendations when they're pulling Reddit information in. But just building topical authority across other sites is very important. Now, it's not just any sites, it's sites like high authoritative press releases like you just seen, USA Today. Here's another example. This is for Imagine, apnews.com. Here is one for Sakowitz, Yahoo Finance, right? These are very strong authoritative sites where we're strategically placing links and then certain social profiles getting in the conversations there. And then also just certain websites that we know have certain trust signals, getting links placed on them as well. We're seeing a big jump, again, not just in dominating Google, but also it does help influence the AI search engines as well. Went over author bios, transparent contact info, making it easy to verify who you are and how to reach you. Definitely great. If you have a site right now that doesn't have a meet the doctor page, right, or something that actually represents you and where you studied, your credentials, I would definitely say build that out. I do see some sites without that. You definitely want that information on the site. It's more important now than ever. These are review and directory sites that AI pulls from consistently in the dental space. Every niche is different, right? But in the dental space, I see these sites over and over again. I'm actually going to jump into ChatGPT. So I started a conversation with ChatGPT. I asked best orthodontist in Tampa. And you could see here, right? The number one thing that it's mentioning is 3 best rated. You're going to see this site over and over again. You can actually get listed. You could submit your business information. It's a large form, but you submit your business information. You also need to submit your dental license, but you could get listed on here if this is in your local area. And I see this consistently popping up. It's one of the citations that we are now building for our partners in a robust list that we now have from research. This is one of them. This is one that I say is probably the strongest behind Dental Country. There's a few big ones that we see consistently popping up over and over again. So when I'm looking at specific searches, I'm noticing also ChatGPT will sometimes give me a short list. In this case, it gave me a very long list. It's showing me general and all ages, right? These orthodontics. Imagine here is one of our partners, so ranking number 3. So looking at this, what we can learn from it is, okay, why are we number 3? And what is it saying about these other practices above us and where are they listed? Well, what do you know? The number 1 listing is in 3 best rated. Now, we did submit Imagine to 3 best rated. That was probably a month ago. They have not popped up yet. That doesn't mean that they won't. When they do, my opinion would be if they get listed on that list, that they're going to hop up a spot or 2, right? Just from being listed on this 3 best rated. That's the power that some of these citation sources have, right? So there's on-page optimizations that you want to make sure you're doing, and then these off-page optimizations, like these specific citations, that you want to make sure that your business is listed on. Here's Dental Country. There's also Bird Eye, WebMD, Health Grade. You might have some of these profiles already. And if you do, great. Another thing that you'll notice that these profiles do is if you do get listed on like 3 best rated, they will actually put you in order of your review ratings. So if you and 2 other competitors, because there's only 3 spots on that site, if you have 500 reviews, your competitors have 1,000, and then one has 2,000, they're going to list number 1 with the 2,000 reviews. It's just the order that they do, right? So that also just shows you how important reviews are, because the sites that are influencing AI are also pulling and looking at your reviews, right? So it's this whole topical authority and trust building framework that you want to be working on, where you're getting a lot of reviews, you're putting press release out there, you're optimizing specific language and credibility on the site. But I can tell you for a fact that these right here are very important.
If doctors are saying, okay, what's Bird Eye? I guess I need to go create a directory there. if people are partnered with us, what we've done is now we've created tiers of SEO. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yep.
And in a certain tier, we're doing all of this for our partners. So,
Yes.
we can do it for you. It's a lot to keep up with. It really
Yeah.
is. And I didn't even know this, it's kind of switching gears to a different platform, talked about Bird Eye, now Reddit. There's literally Reddit influencers, people who have built up authority and trust as a publisher on Reddit, and brands are now paying them to mention their brand in a organic and holistic way. Otherwise, it can get removed, especially if you're sharing links. Like if you just go create a Reddit account and you start sharing links, you're probably all of that's going to get stripped off of Reddit. But
Yep.
anyone searching here has probably noticed, even in Google, because I didn't even really know what Reddit was. I didn't use it a lot, but in my Google searches, it kept coming up so frequently. And when you open it, it has read in app. And so I downloaded the app, created an account. But Reddit is becoming more commonplace in searches and where to get information, because it is this is not AI. It's literally real humans posting their experience, which AI loves because it's real. So it's this forum, which is completely different than like a Google, because it is kind of search engine related. It's not like Facebook or Instagram. So that is a very big part of it as well. And I think we're even doing some Reddit stuff for some of our partners as well. So it's super powerful.
Yeah. And on that topic, whenever you're searching specific things, you're going to always see, like, here's another one,
Yeah,
right?
there's Reddit.
Best
Yeah.
orthodontist, Mobile, Alabama. You're going to see this, right? There's a Reddit thread. Google's loving it. And then AI will pull information from this. So if I come on over to this thread, if you notice here, another one of our partners,
Wow, look at that.
yeah. So we're pushing, right? We're pushing specific also answers up to the top. So Harvey and Thomas. So we want that to stay up to the top. And there's a whole system and formula to do that. And like you mentioned, Luke, you cannot just start a Reddit and just start spamming it. They have a very strong filter now. They'll actually just remove your links and
Hmm.
your mentions right away. So there needs to be a strategy behind it. But yes, that is definitely getting, I can guarantee that that Reddit forum right there, because of how high it's ranking in Google for that, is getting traffic to it. And then another place where someone can look down and go, oh, they said Harvey and Thomas. Let me go check their site out, right? And then AI is also crawling that information and pulling that into some of their recommendations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So brand mentions, press, featured expert, positioning, right? All of this stuff. This is what we want to do as a whole. You want to make sure that you're using specific optimizations on the site, right? And even using top rated specific things, right? If you have a local award, make sure, a lot of our partners have community involvement pages that we build out, we optimize, and we can actually place and optimize, top rated award that they might have won on that, link out, right? You want to make sure that you have this content on there so that AI and also Google, as they're trying to shift and compete with ChatGPT, a lot of this is going to play into their AI as well. Want to make sure that we're positioned as the expert and that we're building as much credibility as we can across the board on your website, and leveraging press release and other link sources out there to mention that. So the truth, yes, SEO still matters. I love SEO. I've been doing this now, I believe 15 years, maybe longer. And like I mentioned earlier, traditional SEO, if you were doing strong foundational SEO, you probably are starting to even see maybe some of your recommendations in ChatGPT, right? You might see your site. You might be in that talk of specific things if you have really strong foundational SEO. But to take it to the next level and to really secure it, everything that I'm going over, from that specific language optimization, terminology, that framework, schema, marking up specific things, that's the lever. I like to look at things as, what's the lever that I'm going to pull that actually matters, not just theory, but really from the results that I see that are working. What's that lever? Well, it's optimizing the website with the specific framework, and it's building out those trust signals. If you're doing those two things, I can guarantee over the next few months, you're going to see that your site and that your brand starts getting recommended more inside of AI search and definitely AI answers. So old way, rank number one, right? Focus on keywords, backlinks. We still want to do all of this, technical optimizations, but the new way and the new goal is become the source that AI trusts and keeps recommending. I also wanted to show you here. I did this. How about an orthodontist in Orlando for Invisalign for my team? We've built up so much credibility over to Dr. Sakowitz's site, who's ranking a lot for many Orlando terms inside of Google, and his practice is doing very, very well. But he's even becoming the cited source at the. He's not even on. It's not even in the list. He's becoming like an informational source. And what I contribute that to is all of the clusters of content that we're writing and how much power through link building that we're building over to that. That's how I know there is a shift going on inside of AI where it's looking for authority and trust signals. And if you could do both of those, there's no doubt that you're going to start seeing yourself pop up. So one of the other things, because I know that's probably a question, is, okay, so as far as visibility goes in AI, how are you tracking this stuff, and what are the next steps? Like what's moving forward? What are we going to be looking at to know if we're growing, right? And believe me, I know it's very tedious. I am pretty much going over to ChatGPT, searching things, looking into a different device, searching on ChatGPT, right? But that's also not scalable. So we have software that we use. And what's really cool is it's integrating all of ChatGPT, but not just ChatGPT, all of AI searches, right? So if you look here, what it's going to be showing me is specific platforms, and then how is our visibility, and then how is our visibility versus competitors. So you can see here, ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, Copilot, Google AI, Grok, right? And I can see specific things here. Now, this is very new. This recently rolled out, but we're very excited that we can actually see this data. We're also using Google Analytics to see specific referral traffic from ChatGPT, which we are starting to see more and more of that, which is a good signal. And I believe that it will grow. And then I just believe that other AI search engines and other integrations of AI are going to take over as well. But you can see here, it's also showing me visibility off of specific topics. So right here, right, affordable braces, financing options near me, upstate New York. I could see that we're ranking for that. It also starts to give me ideas of what people are talking about inside of ChatGPT. It's a little different than just a search inside of Google. Sometimes it's a very specific long tail question that starts a whole conversation. So it allows us to see, okay, maybe we should go optimize whatever page is popping up for this even better for this, because most likely we're not optimized fully for this, right? So taking this data and being able to go back to the site and optimize even further is only going to help us and secure our rankings higher and have more visibility in AI. So 2026 AEO GEO monthly checklist. Here's a checklist. You could even take a screenshot if you'd like of this, but just prompt testing, going over to ChatGPT. I know not everyone has access to software like we do, so you will have to manually look at this, but see what's going on when you ask who is the best dentist, or who is the best oral surgeon, or who is the best orthodontist near you or a specific city, and start having that conversation and see recommendations and take notes, right? If you're not popping up, well, who is popping up? What sites are they sourcing, right? Like why are they popping up? Are they listed, for an example, on 3 Best Rated and Dental Country? Do they have 500 plus reviews on Google? And they also have reviews on Yelp and Facebook. Is their site very robust? And you notice that they're mentioning specific optimizations, like I mentioned today, where they're featuring their awards and that they're board certified or double board certified, right? Specific language and terminology. If you're seeing that, take note of that, because that's the stuff that you want to make sure that you're also doing. You'll also probably notice if they're doing a topical content strategy. Do they have a lot of blog content that's robust and answering specific questions, right? Like answer focused content creation. You want to make sure you're doing this as well. Snippet zones and structured formatting, like I mentioned, specific formatting, that H1, the H2, specific details, just maybe 300 words where it really answers a specific question that's optimized in that heading. Making sure you have schema implementation, especially FAQ, and trust, reputation expansion, do press release campaigns, strategic authority backlinks, right? I can't stress that enough. This is probably one of my favorite, and the biggest thing is strategic authority backlinks, building out those citations that I mentioned, and additional citations. You still want to be optimized on citations like the Chamber of Commerce, right? Yellow Pages. You want those citations built out as well. If you do have a YouTube channel, then tie in optimizations on your YouTube, optimize your YouTube videos. Not many know this, but you can actually tag your video at your location so that your location is tied to your practice. You could put your name, address, phone number, a link to your website. All of this information is helpful for SEO, right? And then if you have videos embedded on your site, you can also use the video schema, and then monthly monitoring, right? Looking at updates. And I also want to mention, this does not mean take your focus off of your Google rankings. You still want those to be top tier, and you want to make sure you're ranking in Google Maps, right? And also organically. And like I mentioned earlier, Google is testing things out. So AI is going to be integrated more and more inside of Google. So you definitely don't want to take your foot off the gas pedal if you're focused on Google, but you want to start doing specific things that also cater to AI, and you can do both. Right, that's our focus. We have a framework that's covering both right now, so we could dominate Google and then also make sure that we're also ready to dominate AI search. And here's some of the structured data that we like to use: local business schema. If you're a dentist, look for dentist. FAQ schema, definitely. Article schema, video schema, and persona schema, which we use on like Meet the Doctor pages. And if you do want a free AI visibility audit with our software, and for me to get my eyes on your project, all you have to do is go over to hip.agency, go to the contact page, fill it out, give your information, and I will personally get that. They'll send it to me, and I will review it. I'll even do a video audit for you. I'll look at your site. I'll look at your rankings on Google as well. I'll look at everything and just really give you some insight and overview of, hey, this is exactly what I would do. This should be your next steps. What's coming next? AI overviews, expanding into more queries. Definitely, like I mentioned, just showing you how local AI recommendations are increasing and how also it's tying into Google Business now. When I did that plumber near me, it's just a matter of time that they start testing that out in the dental space and other specific areas. Citations, trust signals, becoming the new ranking factor, right? I've always used that. That was like the secret SEO weapon in Google, but it's also becoming the secret weapon for AI search. And I believe the more you lean on that, building trust, building authority, and investing in a really strong campaign is how you're going to be visible in AI search moving forward.
Awesome. Thanks, James. So we have taken all this information and more and put it into a book, Orthodontic Practice SEO. If you're a dental practice, multi-specialty, still relevant for you. You can scan this QR code. It's going to take you to Kindle, Amazon, where you can get the book, read it on your Kindle, or if you have the Kindle app on your phone device. We do have printed copies on the way. So again, if you go to our website, fill out the form, you could just mention the webinar and the book and drop your address, shipping address. We can send you a printed copy when we get some. It'll be eventually available on all e-readers. So while it's available right now only on Kindle, soon it'll be Apple Books also. So wherever you like to read. All right, everybody, thanks so much for watching. We appreciate you taking your time to be on the webinar with us. James, anything else before we end it?
That is it.
All right. Thanks so much, James. Thanks everybody for
Thank
joining.
you.